It looks so good, doesn't it? So let's take you back to where it all started, because it didn't always look this good. Welcome back, guys, to our newest build series. Now, this car is very special and familiar to a lot of you, so please allow me to introduce our newest car, the W205 C63S AMG. Now, as you can see, it arrived to us in such a horrible state, so it was our goal to fix this car. And with that being said, we should probably go through the damage first.
Alright, get a good view of what is actually wrong with this thing. So, like I said before, we got the radiators here, the front one, obviously that's pretty stuffed. The one behind it, also stuffed, so two rads. We got the intercooler, like the surrounding up here is bent there. You can see that it's not supposed to be like that. So we got that's the right hand side intercooler. We also have the bottom here. This part of the crash bar, it's like a support beam underneath. That is all crumpled, so that's not the best. Don't know if this is too important. It's a bit weird. The heat shield at the back is like crumpled weirdly. Had a look at a few images and it's not supposed to look like that. So don't really know what's happened here. Obviously not looking good, but honestly overall not bad at all. This should not be too expensive and it shouldn't really take too long to get back on the road. So yeah, it looks pretty good.
Alright guys, so let's go through a couple of the mods that the previous owner put on this car. So this car is a 2016 AMG, which means it's the pre-facelift model. Now, because it's the pre-facelift model, they came with a different grille originally, which was not the Panamericana grille. However, this owner's put the Panamericana grille in all black on the front. He's also put a tasteful front lip on the front, which is unfortunately fake carbon fiber. Used to be a front lift, now it's crumbled, as you can see. Then, further back, we can see that there are different rims from the flat face original AMG ones. Unfortunately, these ones are reps that they sell here locally in Perth, Australia, which are around about 1,000 AUD, which is not very good because they're not flow form, they're also not forged, they're just heavy normal wheels. I believe these are reps off one of the AMG SUVs. I believe it might be a GLE, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so it's off the SUVs. He's also upsized them to 20 inches and put very bad tires on them. So those will definitely be getting a change once this car's done. He also blacked out the badges here, which are no longer on the fender because they must have fell off in the rain or something. If you follow me back to the back, the final mods are just this carbon wing, which I'm not 100% sure if it's real carbon, to be honest. It seems pretty stiff, but I kind of like the look of it, to be honest, so we might just keep it on there. I also have reason to believe that this car is a night package because the exhaust tips on the back are actually black when from stock without the night package. They're supposed to be silver. Along with all the badges, they're also all black, and these trim pieces along the top of the door are also black. So that gives me reason to believe that this is a night package. There's also a diffuser that he put on the back. I believe it's an F1 style diffuser. We've looked under the car as well, and there doesn't seem to be any modifications to the exhaust. There's also none of the downpipe modifications that a lot of the owners use on these cars either, which is pretty fortunate for us because that'll be coming in a later video when we get this thing tuned. But yeah, as far as mods go, I'd say that's really about it for this car. It's full black and grey. So another reason this car looks a lot more aggressive than a typical AMG that you see out in the wild, and possibly also because of the black trim, is because all Australian delivered AMGs only came in AMG S's, which basically means that from stock there's different things like they come with the sport bucket seats, they come with, I believe, a different wheel, and I believe some of the trim can sometimes be different as well. It's really minuscule changes other than the bucket seats. The power as well. So stock, these cars are supposed to have around 475 horsepower, and because it's an AMG S, they're tuned up to 503 horsepower, which is only 4 less than the 507, which is a pretty close competition. We'll have to see in a future video who wins.
So this car, as of now, is a non-runner, so it won't start like our last car. Seems that all of our cars just don't start.
So unfortunately, guys, the car did not start. Now, we thought originally that the reason it did not start was because of this right here, the pyro fuse. Now, yes, it is blown, and we tried to bypass it by putting one alligator clip from a jumper cable on here and one on here. Now, usually that would do the trick to bypass it, but because this is a Mercedes and, you know, it has to be difficult, has all these different electronics and things like that. Because it's a Mercedes, we need to get an Autel tool, which is like the scanners that you plug into the OBD port, and we need to actually remove the crash detection from the car. Because when these cars crash, usually it's when 2 or more airbags have gone off, and you can obviously see that one there, one there. When these cars crash, it comes up with a crash detection that's in the ECU, which prevents the starter from spinning or anything from being initiated. So the next step in the process, I believe, is going to be clearing that code with the Autel tool, and then bypassing that pyro fuse, and then hopefully giving it another go. So yeah, let's give it a go.
Alrighty guys, so got the tool, Autel, big ups. We're gonna try and start this thing, because this is basically how these Mercedes work. Shout out to Matt Armstrong, we saw this on his video. Basically with this car, when it crashes, it goes into like a crash detection mode, so you need some sort of tool to code it to get that off in order to start it. So we're gonna do that. Then we bypass the pyro fuse, which actually isn't on the car anymore. And then we're chilling, so we're gonna do that now.
In the back, we've taken it apart, the pyro fuse. Because we're in Australia, we get this weird variant of pyro fuse. Obviously, this is not what it looks like normally. All the parts are just over there, all in bits. But if we wanted to order like one of the OEM ones using the part number, we can't. They have to actually release one from Germany, and by the end of it, it ends up costing $1,500, which is not worth it. So for now, we're just going to bypass it, and we already have a new other pyro fuse that we have to wire up on the way. And yeah, so let's just get to bypassing it.
205 sedan AMG C63S.
That is right.
Let's scan the car, see how many faults we get.
Yeah, let's see how many faults. Considering half the front end's unplugged. Oh my god, how many faults?
This car's cooked apparently. Even your head-up display's got a fault apparently.
Nice.
A lot of these is just not actual faults.
Sound receiver, signal receiver.
The camera's cooked. Your reverse camera's cooked. Everything on this car.
Reverse? My reverse camera's chilling.
Everything is. It's a lot of faults.
Alright guys, so after scanning it, it does actually come up with a crash event has occurred, which is what we were hoping for. So now we're going to clear it and then try and start the car.
Alright, just proceed, press the button. It wants us to press yes. It's going to clear it.
Yes, that's what I was hoping for.
Alright, so value is active. This process can be started by pressing the start power disable. So it's active.
Yeah.
We need to press F1. It's exactly the same as Matt Armstrong, so big ups to him. Press F1. The procedure was not completed successfully. Switch off ignition, then switch on back again. Receipt. Is that what Matt had?
Yeah, he had to do this like 4 times before it decided it wanted to.
So, and eventually it says yes?
Yeah. Not activated?
Not activated.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's good then, right?
Okay, press F1.
There we go. We've unlocked the ECU.
Alright, yes, the ECU is now unlocked. The car should be authorized to start.
Alrighty. Wow.
So,
There you go.
oh, I'm excited.
Alright, this should work.
You ready?
Yep, try. Oh my god. And there we go. The car had started and seemed to be running fine, which was a great relief. Now it was time to further assess the damage and get to fixing the rest of the car.
But to fix the car, as you all know, we need parts. And the route we decided to go with this car is by buying a donor vehicle, which allows us to use the parts off of it and put it onto the grey C63. But not everything is sunshine and rainbows. This car also isn't perfect.
Not? Wow. It's running very weirdly. What is going on with this car?
4 cylinders.
What are your thoughts?
Very
Overall
nice. The Edition 1 has a fair bit of changes that I was not aware about.
Nice steering wheel, that is like...
Every single bit of stitching is red. This is obviously aftermarket, but the seats are nice. It has red carbon fiber. It is very nice. Very nice car.
Very nice. Alright, time to drive this thing inside. Give it a start. That can't be right. We're going to get the Autel tool because we're going to do some code reading on this thing. Taking Christian's current car, soon to be upgraded, maybe. Okay. So firstly, a leak in the air intake system.
You can actually hear that.
So that's
It's running at the front, which will definitely cause a misfire.
Yep. Yeah, something doesn't sound right. Yeah. It shakes just a little bit. That is a 10 RPM difference, so that's good. It's okay, it says, which is pretty good. Means the engine is usable and it's actually a good engine in general. That's what we want to see, guys. That's what we want to see. Which means it's sellable and we can actually get the money out of this car, which is the main reason that we bought it. Isn't that right, Christian?
It is right.
So yeah, the compression's good, mate. Happy to hear that?
I'm happy to hear that.
Good.
Okay.
There goes the strap.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Even Christian's braking could not save that.
Double foot brake.
I mean, 2 tons.
But before that, we also managed to diagnose and fix the issue with the donor car's engine, which was making it run horribly. And it turned out to be a pretty simple fix in the end.
Lovely.
Look at that.
Completely split. Yep.
Right there.
That's your problem.
We found the air intake problem, Christian. What do you have to say?
Whoop-de-doo.
Come on, explain what's going on.
No, we did it.
You're the experts.
There we go. So that is where it's getting too much air, it's running lean, and it's making it run how it is, which is very badly.
Very bad.
So basically, it's a crash car.
Oh my god.
Yo. So as you can see, that throttle body silicone bit came off, and what it does is it makes the car lumpy like it has a cam. And what we think may have happened is the guy was doing some not so legal things. That thing popped off, the car went cammed. He thought his engine was cooked, and so he's gone and run it into a wall. So that's how we've ended up with it. Maybe
That's
a
pretty
theory.
sick. That'd be pretty cool. It's a cool story.
It's fortunate for us, but unfortunate for him because he's lost a great car.
Yeah, that's a real L for him.
Unfortunately.
So right now we're going to take this fender off right here because we're going to see if we can get it repaired because that'll save a hell of a lot of money. So we got a little bit of a ding here and there. Hopefully they can repair that as well as the hood that we took off before. We'll struggle to take off as you guys saw. And we're going to take off that. We're going to take off the intercooler stuff, put it back on and start rebuilding up this thing eventually. And then, yeah, guys, it's going pretty good though.
Alrighty, people. So, as per usual with our channel, there's more bad news. I was not paying attention. I was standing just over there, trying to make edits for our upcoming Instagram and TikTok, which you can go follow by the time this video is live. But we have found another issue. So as it turns out, even the littlest of smacks can break things. So part of the main rad has snapped, which might not be repairable. But we're going to look into it.
Yeah.
And see if it is. It's not the best, but it may end up not being the worst. We are going to look into it and see if we can repair it, because the same thing happened with that crash bar over there, and look at it. It's never looked better.
Awesome. Alright guys, another day of hard work. What do you have to say, Christian?
I don't know.
What should the viewers do? What should they do? What should they all do?
Please subscribe.
Yep. What else should they do? What should they follow? The new things that they should follow.
Follow us.
On what? What should they follow us on? Instagram and TikTok. Instagram and TikTok. That's all me. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah.
That was the worst outro.
This ain't the outro. No. Well, we're back tomorrow. It's getting late now. It's time to sack it. We're going home. But we've made some progress today. We're doing good. Just got to get this thing built up, and this could be another build in the channel. Something for Christian to hoon around in and do burnouts and donuts. Alright, we'll be back. The next day, it was time to keep stripping the donor so that we can start rebuilding our car. First things first, we need all the radiators. Alright, so we're gonna drain the rads first because we're taking all this off and then putting it on the other car because those ones are smashed. So let's get to work. Alright guys, so this is the mess we've made getting all these rads off.
Oh gosh, all the belts and stuff hide behind all that.
We are clearly great mechanics.
Alright, so now we got all the rads off. As you saw, was not the cleanest job, but it is done now. Our next plan of action with this car is to take the fender off because we want to take the fender and that hood over there to a panel beater shop so we can get it assessed and possibly get it repaired because anything's cheaper than buying a brand new Mercedes part. If you didn't know, these fenders are over $1,000 for just one. So where we can spare money, we would like to. So yes, let's get to doing that.
Just got the side skirt off. So now we're ready to take the fenders off and hopefully go get them repaired.
Next thing to come off is the fenders because as we explained before, we need both fenders. One is okay, the other one's kinked on one side. So we need it so we can take it to a panel beater and get it fixed.
Alright, so now she's just holding on by the inside of the door and then they'll be both off.
Yeah, if you are not aware, these fenders are fairly easy to take off, except for the fact that, thank you Jake, except for the fact that you have to open the door and get into the trim that sits in this crevice here, where the fender meets the door. And as me and my dad found out, it's not the most fun to do.
And then both fenders were off.
Okay, so we have come across a discovery that we had a theory might have happened before, but we now actually have proof that it's happened before. Our first hint that this car had been crushed before it was crushed when we bought it was the headlight, which I'll put up a clip now. The headlight actually has previous repair along the bottom. We thought that might have just been previous repair from it being damaged before, but now we know that this car has actually been in the crash prior to this one, where it was not written off because the PPSR doesn't say so. And another bit of evidence that we found that proved this. Firstly, the biggest piece, every part on a car has a part number so that people can get parts easily and get the right parts for their car. And fortunately for us, these part numbers give away the dates on which the parts were made. And so if you look in the middle here, so if you can see there, it says it's from 2020. And this car is a 2016 model of the car because, as you saw when we received the car, it's got the pre-facelift headlights, so there's no way it can be a facelift. Which means this car was in a more than a fender bender before, and both fenders have actually been replaced with 2020 fenders, meaning this car was possibly crashed in 2020. I'm kind of yapping now. If you didn't know, insurance companies, if they choose to repair the car, they have to replace it with OEM parts. So, and then obviously the second part is in here. The panel shop did not do a very good job, did they? So yeah, cool little discovery, but thankfully this fender is still usable. So what are we gonna do next, Jake? Now, after this yap session.
So after that yap session, we are gonna call it a day. No. we're doing? Yeah. We've got everything over here that we need. We're taking that fender, or no, this fender. This fender's the good fender, that's the fender we're going to try and get repaired. Got the bonnet to try and get repaired. This is some stuff that we're going to sell. So we're going to take all this to the panel shop, get it all repaired and get it ready. But
Get it looked at.
get it looked at and hopefully repaired, because I make everything cheaper. Let's begin. The old crowbar.
The next part to come off was the auxiliary radiator, because as you can see it was completely ruined. And with that off, it was time to remove the damaged structural rail so we could get to the rest of the radiators. And after draining all the radiators, it was time to get them off the car to do a damage review.
Old rat pack off.
But before that, we discovered a hole in the coolant hoses, which furthermore proves why we need to remove these radiators. Because although they look fine, there can be some nasty things behind them, which if not found, that can be the difference between your car running and driving, or your car having a nasty leak, meaning you have to tear it all apart again, which is not ideal. Speaking of the radiators, here's what we discovered. Okay, so as you would have just seen, we got all the radiators and things off the car. And now that they're off the car, we can do a proper inspection on them and assess what is salvageable, what's not, and everything in between. So now that we have this main rad off the car, hopefully you can see because it's in the sun, but basically the fan that sits at the back of all the radiators and pulls the air through looks like it's given this a bit of a kiss. You can see here, hopefully, there's line, that's from the fan spinning and doing that. But that's not so bad. The worst part about it is right here and right these two spots here. You can see it's pretty deep, and these fins that sit in the middle, you can see there's tons of them. These fins are the things that actually carry the coolant around, and if they're damaged or popped, that basically renders this entire rad useless. However, it did have coolant in it, so that's a good sign. But we just need to assess it closer and assess if it really is damaged. There's another deep point there, and all of these are from the fan obviously, and then just this mounting point here I noticed was bent. So there's that, and also now that this main rad is finally off the car, you can now see what we were talking about on why we needed to actually replace or take off this rad. If you look here on either side, there is a mounting point for the whole radiators. Now, as you know, radiators clip together via these side things, but the main thing that holds them up and actually holds them in the car are these points. You can see this side, perfect. It's got the whole thing, the whole rubber grommet, all that. This side, however, does not have that, which is why we need to either take the one off the other car or plastic weld one onto this. Okay, so I've just been given the donor car rad. As you can see visually on the back of it, it's pretty much a-okay. However, the main part that we needed, this mounting point, completely shattered, like nothing at all, which is not good news. So we have to sort something out, but we will let you know what we end up going with, because it's a bit of a shame that we can't use that rad.
Okay, so we've come to the conclusion, or sort of the conclusion, that we think this rad is probably kinda stuffed, to be honest, because we think that obviously the core of the rad has been impacted, and the thing is, we have no idea how this thing is gonna actually run when it's under pressure and it's on the car, because obviously, I don't know if you guys saw, but the hose into the expansion tank had snapped. It's like when the accident happened, so it would have lost all pressure straight away. So even though it wasn't leaking coolant afterwards, when it's put back under pressure, it might. And we don't want that. We don't want to run into that problem. So the plan is to swap this side, this like bracket side thing, onto this radiator, because this radiator is good and it has been under pressure. We've seen it under pressure and it's been fine. Hasn't leaked any coolant whatsoever. So this rad is good. We're going to try and see if we can swap these over. I think there's some sort of issue about the reason why it's difficult to do this is because they don't carry the O-rings to do this. But we're going to try and figure something out and see if we can get it done. But that's the plan, guys.
Alright guys, so you would have seen in the previous clip, we described how that tank on the side on the one radiator was toast. However, the other side, the tank was actually okay. One radiator's damaged, the other one wasn't. So we've now sent those radiators off to a professional to get the one side put on the other one. I think Jake explained it before. But we've come back to the workshop now and we've noticed a few things. So the main one is, now that all of it's off, I've had a look. This coolant tank here that sends it into the radiators is actually cracked. And if I push it, it goes all the way through, which means when this car was crashed, some of the coolant would have leaked out from just here, because how gravity works. The tank's way up here, it leaks lower and lower. So that's the first thing. Second thing, this car has had a belt replacement since new, which is good because these typically last about 60,000 Ks per belt change. So we're not sure if that's warranted. And the third thing, that is not the best news. As Jake mentioned in the last video, the downpipes on this were done. This car has catless downpipes. These were fitted on. That's great news. But what's not great news is the shop that did it left a bunch of bolts off. So if you come around here, for example, on the intake where it bolts in there, that's gone. Up here where the intake sits on a mount by the rocker covers, that's not on. And that's just a few. There's quite a few other things like this heat shield. That's also just completely loose, which is not good. Whichever shop did this, shame on you. Jake just cut me off there. We're gonna fix it. We're gonna comb through this whole thing, and by the time it's done, this thing will be as good as new. So yeah, the next thing that we're gonna do, I don't know. Probably bolt the stuff back on tomorrow. Yes. We'll be back when we start doing something else.
The next day.
Okay guys, so now that we are waiting for a bunch of parts, what we're going to be doing right about now is rebuilding the interior.
Yeah.
So basically, we took out a few things in order to get the old airbag module out. We took out a few things in order to get the old airbag module out, which is actually that one, but it got recoded to clear the crash data, which means now we can put it back in and it will all be good. So basically all we had to do is take out that big center console trim there, and that's it really. It's going to be kind of easy to put it back. We just got to find the bolts for it, put that back in, put that back on, and happy days.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, probably, but hey, let's give it a go. W, bro. You got it in?
Okay, so that was actually a lot easier than I thought. Hopefully you can see. There's some screws, I've got them all in here. But actually getting the connectors that go into the pins was actually not too hard. So now we are going to screw the airbag module in. However, before we put this big center console back in, we have to go to that car over there and get one of these, a touchpad, because if you can see there, it's cracked. And we want to make sure this car is pristine, so we're going to use every bit off the donor that we can. So yes. And so it was out with the old cracked touchpad and in with the new not cracked touchpad. But right as we buttoned everything up, we came to a realization. Alright, so really quick, we're finished putting the console in the original car. But this little module that you see down here, we have reason to believe that this might be Apple CarPlay for this car. And if I can put it in that one, why not? So Jake kindly is going to hand me this center console, red carbon fiber.
We're gonna plug it back in and get this screen working because we never actually tested if it had CarPlay. So now we're gonna test it. If it does, probably gonna pull out everything we just did on the other car because we kind of want Apple CarPlay because it's like, why not? Apps.
And as you can see, it did in fact have Apple CarPlay. So it was time to tear all of our hard work apart again so we can get this in the new car. So while you watch us put in the new CarPlay, I want to ask you guys for a big favor. If you have enjoyed this video or any of our other videos so far and want to see more of our content, please consider liking the video, subscribing and leaving a comment down below, as it helps us out a lot as small creators to know what you guys like and dislike about the videos.
There we go, guys. That is CarPlay on the C63S pre-facelift, which doesn't usually have. Just with a plug-and-play modification. It is that easy, guys.
We've done it after an hour and a half.
Nah, it wasn't that long. Look at that. You got full functionality. We got touch screen.
It's not touch
We
screen.
don't have a touch screen. It's not touch screen, but at least it's there. So yeah, pretty sick.
Look at Okay, we're back. We now have the mounting points for the rads and the headlights. That's all good, everything's aligned. So we're now going to put the rads in, get some coolant in it, start it up, check for leaks, maybe drive it, and then do all of the service items. We have an update for the panels. Turns out they should be salvageable. We just need to double check with the panel shop once we find one. But it is looking up. So when we get to that, we'll let you guys know. So what we're going to do right now is figure out how these come off. Because as I said previously, this tank's cracked and this is cracked here. So we're going to have a go at taking them off and replacing them with the donor behind the camera. Donor parts behind the camera. Then we can start putting the rads on and all the other fancy stuff. So yeah. Now, as we've said before, we're not mechanics and sometimes we need a little bit of help. So here's Jake's dad sorting the issue with the coolant bottle, because let me tell you, it was really damn hard to get it out, and we only had one shot at doing this without breaking anything.
Alright guys, we're putting on the new tank, the non-cracked one off the other car. How you get it off actually, you can't just like pull this tube out, you gotta push down on that collar there and then it will let the tube come out. Putting it on's easy, you just put it back in, you don't have to do anything crazy. So yeah, we're gonna put that one on now.
The next thing, naturally, to do is to start working towards getting the rads in. First, we have to clip them together.
Alright, now these bottom bits go in the two mounting point holes, the bottom there.
With the rad mounts in place, as Jake said, we can then lift the actual rads up and put them into place. Then we can connect everything up and it's pretty much ready to fill with coolant.
Guys, there you go, we got the full rad pack on, look at all that. Got the auxiliary, the aircon, the main rad, and we plugged everything in, got the fan plugged in, got all the brackets plugged in, side bits are on, so it's looking real good. Getting to the point soon, we'll be able to actually put coolant in it, and we're gonna do that very soon. Just got a few more things to do, hooking it up, get the coolant in it, get the oil cooler mounted on, and we might be able to take this thing for a drive, possibly.
Okay, so the first thing to button up here is putting that new crash bar in, followed by the radiator mount that sits alongside the top of the front of the car. Then it's on to putting the intakes back on.
We'll be changing the filters on these intakes so we can put them on, get the car started, and hopefully it all goes well. So let's get this done, put some coolant in the car, do some maintenance possibly, and get this thing running. Let's go.
For this next part, we are indeed putting the intakes and heat shields back on, as it is finally time to start this beast, to see if we did everything correctly. However, there may be some questions you guys have relating to it, and I'd like to answer those really quick just so that you have context. First is about the fluids in the engine. Yes, we did fill the engine with enough oil and coolant just to see if it runs. And we'll be doing a full service on it shortly so we can take it for its first proper drive, so stick around.
Alright, now we've got a whole nother car in the background. If it doesn't start, we've got a problem. Come on. There we go. Come on.
and thank God she still runs. And well, might I add. The next segment is, as I said, all about getting the car freshened up with some new fluids and doing a couple more things to the front of the car. You can see the whole front end is now built up besides the panels, which is where today's video comes in. In today's video, we're going to start off by doing just some service items, pretty much oil, fluids, all that stuff, all the filters, everything like that. Stuff like this, which mounts the headlights. So yes, we're getting her ready for the inspection. Maybe doing the first inspection because it's actually right around the corner from where we build these cars. So yes, let's get to the first thing, which is bolting a few things back onto the front of this.
Now, if you haven't watched the last video, we finally managed to get this car running and it was now able to be driven. But before all that, we need to put on a few more things, such as the airbag sensors. This is the old airbag sensor here. It's already been triggered, so we're gonna get the new one on. After a crash has occurred and the airbag sensors go off, they need to be replaced as they become useless. We also put back parts such as the horn and the top trim piece. Alright, so now that top trim piece is now on, it's all coming together very nicely. Obviously got the Distronic we put on, we got the 2 support braces, and this main thing. Also got the horns on, and we're also getting it ready to resolder these wires, because a few of the actual plugs snapped. So we're going to resolder them. Alright guys, so right about now we are going to be fixing the headlights because we're waiting on some panels and stuff. So we're going to fix these headlights right now and get them so that they can be put on the car. Basically, what we have to do is swap the modules over, because I'll show you. We have to swap the module from that headlight onto this one, because this is the one we're using. That one's all smashed at the front. And then the other headlight from the donor car is a bit damaged, so we have to use a headlight repair kit to fix that. But we ordered a headlight repair kit, but they gave us the wrong side, so we're gonna have to wait to do that. So right now we're just gonna be swapping the module over. Then it was oil change time. We're just in. There you go, nice.
Good.
We also changed the oil filter. With these crash cars, it is very important to do basic maintenance jobs, as we have no idea of the maintenance history of any of the cars that we build. What do you think of the old filter, Christian? Not bad?
It's hard to separate, but it looks alright.
No metal filings, nothing like that. Happy? Cool. Then the new filter went in. Then we also had to replace the oil pan gasket, as we noticed that it was leaking and it was better to do it now when the car was apart than later. We then gave the pan a clean and put it back on with the new gasket. Then we had to fill up with some brand new oil. So now we're gonna fill up the oil. Fill up the car with oil. I don't know what I just said, fill up the oil. Fill up the car with oil.
Otherwise you'll get air in the bottom.
Then it was time to fire her up again. And now for the long-awaited moment, the first drive. Alright, first drive time. Here we go. See how she runs? Hold on. Alright guys, first drive ever. Here we go. No bonnet, no nothing. Nice and smooth. That's nice pull-offs. That's not too much. That is a loud, that's pretty loud upshift noise. Whoa. Damn. That is nice.
Baby, that is nice. Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
That is nuts, guys. Oh my lord, that's ridiculous. Wow. That is fast. That is fast.
Unlike the car, the next job wasn't fast at all. We had to replace the seat belts.
Alright guys, we have found something else that we have to do on the other car and this car. And that is now to change the seat belts, because the ones on this car are good. They didn't blow because there was no airbags, there was no crash at all. So they didn't blow and they're usable. But the ones on the other car, all of them blew because some of the airbags went off, which blew the seat belts. Because clearly there was some other people in the car when the crash happened. So that means we have to swap all those seat belts with the ones in these car. These ones are red, which is kind of cool. So we have to put them in there. But this is going to be a bit of a nasty job because taking seat belts out isn't the funnest thing ever. And we don't really like interior work that much. So let's get this over and done with, I guess.
Alright guys, welcome back to another day of working on this car. For today's job, because I'm pretty sure it's going to take the entire day, is doing the seatbelts. Now, we didn't film much of taking the seatbelts out of the donor, but it is done. So, for today's job, we're basically just going to be tearing this beautiful interior apart, sadly, and in changing the belts from black to red. Because if you saw previously, all of the belts are blown, and how belts work is sort of like airbags. They have a fuse in them, and once that fuse is gone, the belts are locked out and, well, they can't be used. So watch us as we struggle to put them back in, because believe me, interior work is not fun. And if working on a C63 isn't hard enough, it's 38 degrees. So we have that to look forward to. I'm sure you'll notice us sweating quite a lot in this video.
This job involved us basically ripping apart the whole interior. So here's us doing that.
See here?
Now, we don't want to bore you guys too much, so we won't show too much of the seatbelts process, but just know it took a really long time to change them, as we really didn't want to damage this interior in the process.
Alright guys, so it's taken a little while, but we've managed to get all of the seatbelts in. The fronts are now in as well, all done, and it looks really, 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 really good. So now we've got to check if the codes are gone, and that means that we've done the job right, and it's all good, basically. There we go guys, no airbag light, all fixed, awesome.
But then, we had a whole nother issue on our hands.
So now that the wheels are on, looks really, really, really good, fits great. We're gonna do the fenders next, because this thing's starting to look more like a car now. So the next step is the fenders, and the hinges, and then the bumper, and then the bonnet, and the lights, obviously. So the next job, we're gonna do the fenders right now. Should be pretty easy, and let's get this thing on the road, guys. These are the two fenders that we've got, guys. Obviously a bit mismatched in paint, but that's just how it is. So this is the one off the donor car. That one was fine, it's nice and straight, so we're gonna use that one. And then the other one is off a car from a different state in Australia that we got sent over here from a wrecking place. So we're gonna be putting this fender on. Black one looks really, really nice. And the white one, it's gonna be a bit of a mismatched car, but once it's painted, I'm sure it'll look incredible. So we just gotta put the hinges on and then get these two fenders on, and it's gonna be looking the part. Yeah. Right, this one on now. Alright guys, fender time, here we go.
Well, my reason for putting the fender on before we even received the bonnet, because I want to see how these stack up to the wheels. Because the back is cutting it pretty close, but I still want to lower it, so.
No, not happening.
It's going to happen.
It shouldn't happen.
Alright, so we have to be very careful here, because if I just send it home, I'm going to smack the door. So you kind of just slide it into place without scratching the door.
You gotta get these bottom two bolts to line up down there. Which they now, with the help of me, they're on like that. And then Christian just has to line it up so the panel gap isn't too terrible
Without hitting the door?
without hitting the door. And basically it's a few bolts.
Like so. There's actually a lot of adjustment as well with the fenders. It's the first three bolts along the top. You undo them, shift it around for the panel gap. There's one in the door where you need to have like 1,000 extensions to get it on. And the biggest adjustment, which is the curvature on the side for it to go along with the door, you have 2 bolts at the bottom where they go in and out and bend the fender accordingly. But yes, it's time to bolt the fender on. We're just doing these loose for now because I don't think we're going to align the fenders until we have the bonnet.
Yeah. Well,
We
you
should
can't
hopefully-
really.
Yeah, no, because you have nothing to compare it to.
Exactly.
We might chuck the headlights on, but we have limited time, so got to do what we can. Got to do what we can. So happy, guys. You know what I'm not more excited for, but you know what I'm very excited for? The car that's behind Jake, right there.
I wonder what it is. Give you a sneak peek. No. Oh,
no,
that was a bit too
no.
close. Sneak. Oh.
You have to wait till next week, but it's one hell of a car, guys. And I'll give you a hint. I won't give you a hint. I'll give you one hint. It's been done before. That's the only thing I'll say. You have to find out when, how, who. It's been done before, but we're going to do it better.
Real.
So pretty much, guys, the way that you adjust it is, you see that white outline, that's the old paint on this fender, because this, I'm sure, has been repainted before. Nevertheless, you pretty much just move it around like so until it's right, and then you bolt them down, move that one, vice versa. Then you have the ones at the bottom here. There's 2 on the bottom. That adjusts the curvature, so whether this is all the way out here or all the way in. And then there's one on the back, but I don't think that does much. But yes, now that we have this one on, it is time to put the white one on. Look at that.
Geniusly put in the top bolt and now it's mint. Look at that.
Panel gap.
Couldn't get much better. Panel gap. Bang.
Anyone needs any panel jobs done, just come to me. Me
Come
and Jake.
to me, Jake. No, not Christian, Jake.
No.
I'm the panel guy.
CJ Panels, yep. Starting up next week.
Guys, so we just played around with the fenders a bit, got the panel gaps a bit better. Now they're looking a bit better, as you can see there. I don't know if you can see. Have a look right there. Up the top as well. So now we can actually mount the headlights back onto the car, because obviously once you put the headlights on, they mount a bit to the fender, so you don't want to have to move it too much after that. So Christian and I are gonna put our repaired headlights on. We got the kit to repair. We got a headlight repair kit, repaired the headlights. Now we're gonna try and put them on. Okay, so we've run into a bit of an issue while we're putting this light on. We've realized that our work with that crash bar is not yet finished because it's not quite far out enough to the point where the light will actually fit onto it. Isn't that right? Yeah, it's about 10 mil
10 mil
out.
too far that way.
Too far inwards, basically, to the point where this bolt there, that's the maximum you can go out for like adjustment. You can't actually get a bolt to grab in there and grab onto the headlight. And even if you could, it just wouldn't be right, put too much pressure on it. And also, that's really, 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 really close to the tire, and it shouldn't be. So we clearly didn't bend this crash bar enough. So now we're gonna have to take it all off again, isn't that right? And
Just a crash bar.
just the crash bar, which is a few bolts. It's annoying, but what can you do? Let's get it off. All right, guys, so after a bit of work, we've got it off, the whole crash bar, which was more than we had thought we had to take off, but yeah, we've kind of made it a crashed car again. But what can you do? So now we're gonna get it sent off to a place that has a bit of a bigger press than us, so that they can press it and get it back to hopefully original condition, so that we can then put it on the car and everything will line up, all the panels will go on, and most importantly, the lights will actually be able to go on. So yeah. Right, so today, this is the big day. We're gonna get this car fully back together. We're gonna get every single part pretty much back on the car so it's ready to go for paint.
It's going to be looking like a car again.
Pretty much. So the crash bar is now bent back to where it should be, so the headlight will actually be able to mount onto it and it won't be too big of a gap between the mounting point.
So here we go, arguably one of the biggest and most expensive visual changes a car can have. It's also actually not too hard to install the headlights, as it's just 3 bolts and they're in.
I've actually got it literally on point.
Where are the bolts for the headlights?
Alright guys, headlights are on. Look at that. They look amazing.
Can't argue with that. They do look pretty damn good. But now we have an update for another side of the story, the bonnet.
We've got a bit of an update for you guys on the bonnet. We actually managed to get a new one. Well, not a new one, a second-hand one from a 2021 model car in the same color for a cheap price. So it's actually worked out even better because we got it cheaper than a brand new one. It's in great condition, same color, already painted. So now we're able to just put this one on and all it needs is a bit of blending. The painting will be a bit cheaper as well. And the underside won't have to be painted because it's already the same color.
Yep, so let's get that puppy on the car for the next biggest visual change.
Don't drop it into the windshield.
Yeah, we're gonna do the adjustments now and get it all looking perfect. All right, everyone, there we go. The bonnet is now on and all the panel gaps are right and the latches are on, everything's on.
We've got all the trims on, everything like that. I popped the bonnet just to show you guys.
Yep, gas
Trim.
struts,
Windshield wipers.
windshield
trim.
wipers are on, everything's on. So now it's time to get the bumper on and then we can finally get this thing on the road. All right, guys, this is everything for the bumper. This is all we need. So now we just gotta get it ready so that we can get it on the car.
Alright, and here we go. The final piece of the puzzle, the bumper. And this part wasn't cheap. It cost us quite a lot of money. So hopefully it looks good once it's all on. Now that it's all on, I can't really complain with the fitment. But I think now it's time to start the car and get her outside so we can see how it looks.
Alright guys, here we go. That is now this car all put together. So we have to take it for inspections and stuff, but look at this thing. It is looking insane. Look how menacing it is, I mean. Just look at that. At night, it looks crazy. What do you think? You like it?
Unbelievable. This thing, I know how Jake feels now.
That's right. These things are crazy. So now we just gotta drive it home and we can take it for an inspection on Thursday, which is in a few days from us recording this right now. This thing's finally starting to come together, guys. Alright guys, we are currently on the road to the service center to get this thing checked for airbags, so we get the certificate saying it's all good. So this is our first actual proper drive of this thing with just me and Christian. So we're on the road, no plates, mismatched panels, looking like a stolen car, but we're going nonetheless, and yeah, we're in peak hour traffic.
Driving well so far. So
Yeah.
it's looking up. It's about a 40-minute drive from where we are, so wish us luck.
My lord. At Mercedes, here we go. Alright guys, it's all passed. We got the full documents and everything. We're all good. Now we're ready to take it for the written off inspection next. So,
Yes.
all good guys.
Happy days.
Happy days.
Alright guys, it's finally time to take this beast of a C63 for the written off inspection. Now I hope you guys enjoyed that cold start, but I don't think I've ever taken the time of day to explain to you guys what the written off inspection is, because it's different all around the world. Now in Australia, after repairing a wrecked vehicle, of any kind, motorbike, car, truck, whatever it is, the first thing after repairing the car without paint, because as you can see, this car is actually not painted right now. Before paint, these cars have to go for a written off inspection, which is essentially an inspection to prove that the car was repaired correctly. Because obviously if it wasn't repaired correctly, for example, the crash bars, if they weren't straight, then that's not good, because it means that the car is not roadworthy to be on the road. So if you hit someone and the car wasn't repaired properly, that could result in bad things happening to people. So yeah, I'll put on a screen all the things that you would typically need for a written off inspection, because let me tell you, it's quite a process. It took me a couple hours to get all of the proof that you need to prove that this car was repaired properly. It includes before, during and after photos of this car, of the whole rebuild process. So as well as documenting it for you guys, we have to document it for the government to prove that it was repaired properly. Not for the government, for written off approved people anyway. This is a big moment for us, because if it doesn't pass, it means this car cannot go back on the road, which is not what we want. We want to be able to drive this thing in the next episode for you guys. Properly drive it, that is. Let's get this thing on the road and done with the inspection, so hopefully it can pass, so we can move on to paint. And once paint's done, then we go for the pits, which is just measuring tread depth, measuring exhaust sound, all that fun stuff. Yeah, let's get on the road. Alright guys, and as you can see right there, the vehicle has passed the inspection, meaning that here it says all checked okay, no structural damage at the time of inspection. Meaning this beautiful car was repaired correctly, just like the previous C63 that we did, and it is now ready for paint, which will be in a couple weeks from when you're watching this. After we get some paint done, it will be on to the pits inspection, which is basically the big worry that we have, because that's where they measure exhaust noise, all that fancy stuff. So hopefully it can pass that when we get to it. But yeah, that's it guys. The vehicle has passed, and yeah. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this build. As you can see, the car is looking immaculate and honestly doesn't even look like it has been crashed. One more thing before the end of the video, I would like to give a shout out to a couple people that were able to make this car possible and make this car look as good as it does. The first ones being Alliance Rims, or Alliance Wheels here in Perth, WA. They refurbished these rims because, as you would have seen, they weren't in the best condition when we got them. And I think they did pretty good. They're actually hand painted by them, so that's the first people that I want to give kudos to. The second people that I'd like to give thanks to is Bridgestone Myrie as well here in Perth, WA. They supplied us with the tyres on the rims, and I can say that they're very grippy. They definitely are what you need in a car like this, so definitely head down to them for any tyre needs. And the final one, the biggest one, the people that painted this car and got it looking pretty damn good, and that's to All Quality Panel and Paint in Cardinia, Perth. They did the entire front end, everything here, and well, the paint matching looks pretty damn good on this car. So yes, that is the three shout outs: Alliance Wheels, Bridgestone Myrie, and All Quality Panel and Paint.
those three were able to make this car look as good as it has. And the final thing before you guys go, I want to say thank you so much for all the support and love that you gave on this build and the blue one that will be coming up very, very soon. It's definitely given me and Jake, I think, the motivation to keep pursuing. So that's the biggest thing that I want to thank you guys for. Always motivating us, leaving your nice comments in the comment section, all of that good stuff. So for next time, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next build. It should be a good one.